My wife's affair partner showed up at our son's birthday party, and I made sure everyone knew who he was. It was supposed to be a normal afternoon. Rented party room, 20 kids high on frosting, a bounce slide in the corner, the usual cluster of parents I half knew making small talk over juice boxes. Then the door opened and a man I'd never met in person walked in carrying a gift. The gift bag in his hand had blue tissue paper poking out the top, and he smiled at me like we were about to shake hands and become old friends. "I'm Derek," he said. "Buddy from your mom's office." He aimed it at my son, who was already sprinting toward the inflatable slide, but his eyes stayed locked on me, measuring, testing. I'd seen those eyes before. In the selfie he'd sent her at 11:52 4 nights ago, the one where he was sprawled shirtless across my side of the bed with my watch still on his wrist, he had no idea I'd seen it. He thought he was walking into a room full of strangers who only knew him as a friendly face from the office. Around us, the party kept going. Balloons knocked against the ceiling tiles. Somebody's kid shrieked on the slide. But my wife stood frozen by the snack table, her hand still hovering over the cupcake tower like she'd been flash frozen mid-reach. "Derek," I kept my voice bright. "Easy. So glad you could make it." He tilted his head, and I watched the smugness flicker across his face. He thought he'd won something by walking in here. Thought he was planting a flag standing in my life to see if it fit him. I'd spent 3 weeks quietly building a case with an attorney, and I'd promised myself I'd keep it clean, keep it away from my son. But he'd walked into my kid's birthday to flaunt it, so I made a decision. I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to swing. I was just going to tell the truth, loudly, in a room full of people who knew us. "I was just telling the other dads," I said, louder now, projecting across the room, "about how you and my wife have been sleeping together for the past 5 months." The slide motor hummed in the sudden silence. Derek's smile cracked. Parents mid-conversation turned, plastic forks suspended over paper plates. Somebody's kid asked what sleeping together meant and got shushed. "Excuse me," he tried to recover, but the word came out thin. My wife moved then, finally, rushing toward us with her hands up like she was approaching something that might bite. "Honey, can we let's talk outside." "We're done talking," I said. I pulled out my phone, thumb already resting on the screenshots folder. But Derek might want to hear a few of his greatest hits. His face went from tan to gray. "Can't wait to have you again," I read, volume cranked. "Told her the hotel by the airport keeps a room under my name." "Stop!" my wife said, grabbing for the phone. I stepped back and kept scrolling. "Sometimes I wish he would just disappear," I read. That one's from her. 4 months before our anniversary. I looked up at the room. Really captures the respect these two have for me, and for our kid. Parents pulled their children closer. One dad covered his son's ears. Derek backed toward the door, gift bag clutched against his chest like a shield. "This is insane," he said. "You're insane. I have hotel receipts, credit card statements, 49 text messages, and a room full of witnesses who just watched you walk into my son's birthday party like you belonged here." My son appeared at my elbow, frosting smeared across his chin, party hat crooked. "Dad, why did everyone get quiet?" The whole room blurred at the edges for a second. I crouched down, eye level with him. "Sometimes grown-ups make really bad choices, bud. Dad's handling it. Is Mom in trouble?" "Yeah, she is." He nodded, solemn, the way kids do when they understand more than you want them to, and ran back toward the slide. I stood. Derek was almost to the exit now. 10 seconds, I called after him. "Then I make sure your company hears about it. I know you two met at the regional conference. I know that's against your fraternization policy. My attorney's investigator was very thorough." He ran. My wife followed him into the parking lot, throwing one desperate look back at me.